Everett. Email us at newstips@KIRO7.com.
This is a CBS News special. America Decides, the Republican National Convention. Now reporting, Norah O'Donnell.
Live from Fox 12 Oregon, this is breaking news.
We begin this morning with that breaking news, an overnight shooting in southeast Portland.
WTKR News 3 this morning starts now.
Welcome to News 3. I'm Kurt Williams. Here's a look at some of our top stories.
Now in Sunrise, a suspected case of road rage leads to a deadly shooting on the southeast side. We have the latest on the investigation and a message from police.
Plus, we'll show you how a teenager is urging federal lawmakers to take a stronger stance against bullying, all in honor of an Indiana boy who died by suicide.
And big changes weather-wise today as we're tracking a cooler air mass moving in. The cold front moving through the state as we speak might spark a stray shower or storm today, but we'll talk about that lower humidity headed our way.
Live from 13 News, you're up with Sunrise. And good morning. Thanks so much for waking up with us here on Sunrise on your Wednesday, 4 o'clock. Hope you had a great day and got through those storms okay. And then
tonight, shots fired at a Southwest Baltimore shopping center.
He was running. He was running. I think he got hit 3 times.
How witnesses describe the deadly turn of events.
The head of the Secret Service standing firm against a barrage of calls for her resignation, where she's shifting the blame in the wake of former President Trump's attempted assassination.
Plus, Rachel Morin's heartbreaking story shared on the RNC stage. The message her family hopes will help lead to real change.
Tracking strong thunderstorms tonight and more possible tomorrow.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WBAL TV 11 News tonight at 11.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 11. I'm Andre Hefkin.
And I'm Ashley Hinson. First tonight, we are tracking a strong line of thunderstorms that have triggered some warnings in our area.
Yeah, those storms were packed with lightning as seen in this shot at M&T Bank Stadium. Wow. Look at that. Meteorologist Tony Pan tracking all this from the Weather Center. So
New England weather is constantly changing. Make sure you know the weather in your town. Download the Boston 25 weather app today. Brought to you by Farina Roofing. This is Boston 25 Morning News, your local station.
And now at 4:30, we have our final weather alert of the week for heat and thunderstorms today. The earlier timeline for severe weather and where wind damage is most worrisome.
It's the third day of the Republican National Convention. The message Nikki Haley had and who is expected to speak today.
And Braintree police arrest 3 people who they say are linked to an international theft group. The warning detectives have for homeowners this morning.
Good wicked warm Wednesday to you. We're halfway through the week. I'm Catherine Parada.
Now, live on WBZ TV and streaming on CBS News Boston. This is WBZ News Mornings.
And good morning. Thanks for being with us. 6 o'clock on your Wednesday, July 17th. I'm Chris Tanaka.
And I'm Paula Evan. Boy, thousands of people are waking up without power this morning across New England because strong storms rolled through overnight. Thunder and lightning lighting up the sky over Leominster.
Also a tornado warning in effect for part of the state.
Live now on 10 Tampa Bay, the final countdown. City leaders poised to vote on a controversial deal to redevelop the historic gas plant district. But tonight, one group is fighting back.
And we're kind of hoping that people will realize that, no, we've seen this before. We want a different plate.
In less than 1 minute, why they say the deal isn't in favor of the community. New allegations. Lakeland PD at the center of yet another case of alleged police brutality.
I was completely caught off guard.
Tonight, only on 10 Tampa Bay, the man at the center of the case opens up amidst renewed calls to investigate the department. Plus, Florida leaders take the stage on the second night of the Republican National Convention. The message tonight as both parties ramp up their campaigns. 10 Tampa Bay is live right now. First tonight, the clock is ticking. Less than 48 hours from now, St. Pete City Council leaders are expected to vote on a multi-billion-dollar project.
Now at 11, the search for a missing teen in the Kentucky River. We'll have the latest from officials on where the search efforts stand. Plus, Ethan's Law signed into law today to help protect the pets of the Commonwealth. And day 2 of the Republican National Convention as some of Donald Trump's former critics now endorse the former president.
ABC 36 News starts now.
Well, good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Paxton Boyd.
12 News starts with breaking news.
That breaking news, a global Microsoft outage is causing major impacts across the world.
You've probably noticed it if you're up with us. It's even impacting us here at 12 on your side. Media organizations, banks, businesses, and major airlines have all been hit by a large-scale tech outage, and they're scrambling to respond.
Yeah, we have team coverage for you this morning. Our Emily Yinger is live at Richmond International Airport with a look at how this is impacting flights this morning.
First, though, we want to go to Macy Moore. She's in our First Alert Center digging into these outages. Macy.
Yeah, this massive Microsoft outage is crippling users all around the world. Some airlines have been grounded. Major broadcasters, including NBC and Hear Us at Home, have been off the air. Meanwhile, Visa, ADT Security, and Amazon are also reporting outages as well.
Get up, DC.
Get up, DC. Welcome in. It is a Friday on July 19th.
Friday. We made it to Friday, and I know we look a lot different,
yes,
but we're here for you.
Yes, we are. We are experiencing a technical issue right now, but we have got you covered with still your news, traffic, and weather on this Friday morning.
And we thank you so much. We need to get to this though. Breaking overnight, a software outage has been linked to Microsoft systems, and it has impacted thousands of businesses worldwide.
The news happening now.
Every night at 11 on WSOC Tonight.
Breaking news as we come on the air, a call for a global ground stop on all flights this morning. We're live at Charlotte Douglas with the reason and the impact for passengers trying to fly out.
Cooler air, and we're going to be dodging on and off showers throughout the next 72 hours. We're going to talk about this pattern change coming up in the next half hour.
And only on 9, chaos in a local store. Police say teens who were kicked out came back angry and armed. The attack on employees and the response from shoppers. Eyewitness News 4:30 starts right now with breaking news. Thanks for waking up with us on this Friday. I'm Denise Broom. Right now, millions of travelers around the world won't take off on their scheduled flights this morning because of communication issues at major airlines. Channel 9 anchor Damani Lewis is live at Charlotte Douglas. Okay, so Damani, we're already seeing dozens of impacts there, and it's only 4:30.
Good morning. It's 4:30, and as we come on the air, we do have some breaking news right now. This is all regarding a global cyber outage having to do with Microsoft 365. So we're going to do a little setup here to let you know what's going on, and you are going to notice that this newscast is going to look much different than you are used to. But first, we want to welcome you on in. Good morning. I'm Antoinette Antonio.
I'm Doug Meehan. We'll check in with Cindy and Katie in just a little bit. We can tell you it is absolutely beautiful outside. But the biggest problem here is what we're noticing on our computers. This all started locally for us at around 1:30 this morning. I'm going to show you my computer right now. I just tried logging on to the laptop, and you can see we're kind of in this death spiral right now. The problem is with the cloud service. And this is what a lot of people saw this morning.
Yeah, this blue screen. So we're going to get another camera shot here. This is what our producers told us. They were here overnight. Obviously, they work from 11 o'clock until 8 in the morning. And then right around 1:30 in the morning, they said their computers basically shut off. Everything went dark, and then they ended up with this blue screen.
I'm Jonathan Martin.
And I'm Faith Jesse. We're both Atlanta natives, so we know the city like you do.
You'll know what to expect with updates from Atlanta's traffic expert, Crash Clark.
And get your first look at the forecast with meteorologist Melissa Nord.
You'll see it on 11 Alive News at 4.
Good morning, and thanks for waking up with us here at 4:30. I'm Aisha Howard.
And I'm Mariana Maneeson for Cheryl Preheim. It is Friday, July 19th, and we finally made it to the weekend.
We made it to Friday, but not without a little blip in the road. So 4:30, you might be waking up and noticing something's a little off in the atmosphere. We are in the midst of a worldwide cyber outage. I mean, this is impacting your banks, impacting the airlines, where we're going to see Jerry Carnes from Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport airport, broadcast organizations, major corporations, including Microsoft. This is widespread.
Yeah, that's right. We're seeing this really happen and really affect places as far as London. We're seeing the London Stock Exchange are also having issues early this morning.
News Center 7 is following breaking news this morning as flights from several U.S. carriers are grounded. This is in connection with a major Microsoft outage. The FAA made the decision due to communication issues. Affected airlines include United, Allegiant, Delta, and American.
This is CBS News Miami Morning Edition.
Good morning to you. It is 5 o'clock on Friday, July 19th, and we're following some major breaking news this morning. Good morning to you. I'm Keith Jones.
I'm Chelsea Jones in for Betty. Right now, you may have heard of it as you're waking up, a global outage impacting major airlines, hospitals, and even 911 call centers. We want to go right to Austin Carter, who is tracking this emergency system outage. Austin, what do you know? What can you tell us?
Yeah, and we're still getting a lot of information here rolling in this morning. Of course, this all happening really during the overnight hours, so a lot of folks are waking up with us and maybe having issues getting onto their Windows platforms this morning. But you mentioned those 911 call centers. We're hearing that is a number of the entities impacted by this outage right now. And
WBTV News starts right now with breaking news.
And breaking this morning, multiple major airlines issuing ground stop orders for all flights as the FAA advises airport officials on communication issues. We've got the latest as this situation continues to develop this morning. We have our team coverage on this story, and we'll be here with you throughout the morning. Al?
And the First Alert Weather Center, big downpours yesterday, and that is setting the stage for more thunderstorms today and over the weekend as well.
Now, Wave News Sunrise.
Well, good Friday morning to you. I'm Shannon Kogan. We're coming on a little bit later this morning because of a massive Microsoft outage affecting millions of people all around the world. You might be waking up, turning on your computer. A lot of blue screens of death that we're seeing, but this has impacted flights all around the world, banking systems, stores, and a lot of media companies.
Your news now. This is WTWO News Sunrise.
Good morning to you on this Friday, July 19th. I'm David Shepard.
And I'm Jen Thompson. Thanks for waking up with us for WTWO Sunrise.
It's coming up on 31 past the hour, 57 degrees out there this morning. And we begin with breaking news this morning. A global Microsoft glitch is grounding flights and impacting businesses around the world.
Yeah, banks, media outlets, and supermarkets also reporting issues this morning. Microsoft blames a glitch in its cloud computing services for the outage. The company says they were able to fix the problem, but many agencies are still reporting issues.
Count on the Valley News Live First Alert Storm Team before severe weather strikes.
You need to get into a safe space.
With an in-depth look ahead.
And more storms do develop, they could be explosives.
Live storm tracking.
That tornado heading your direction.
And breaking weather updates.
You're in Morton, for example. You need to get into a shelter. You don't have much time.
Getting you ready for everything.
Get indoors, away from windows.
The Valley News Live First Alert Storm Team. The Valley's top choice.
Justin Betty. Valley News Live.
Breaking news this morning here on the Valley today at 6 a.m. An internet outage overnight involving Microsoft affecting airlines, banks, media, and offices across the globe this morning. We have the latest.
And some local breaking news overnight. Crews responding to a fire at the Mango's Mexican and American Grill restaurant late last night. What authorities are telling us so far.
Plus, meteorologist Lisa Green joining us with a look at our Friday forecast. It is July 19th, 2024. The Valley today at 6 a.m. starts right now.
This is the Valley Today.
Well, hi, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for waking up and joining us here on the Valley today. We are up and running on our Friday TGIF. Again, thanks for tuning in. I'm Ashlyn Hill.
And I'm Alex Larson.
We begin with breaking news this morning, including here on the Valley today, a widespread computer outage disrupting business operations across the entire globe.
Jared Hill has the latest from New York.
We were supposed to go on vacation, but we're going back home because there is no pilot for the plane, actually.
24 hours later, still not back to normal. Airlines are still feeling the impact
of yesterday's global Microsoft outage. We check in with passengers stuck at SFO.
Plus, a deadly shooting rattles a quiet Fremont neighborhood. The new details we're getting from witnesses.
We start with developing news, a wildfire burning out of control and threatening structures just north of the Bay Area.
We've been following the Ridge Fire since it broke out around 4:30 this afternoon.
This is an NBC News special report.
Good day. We are coming on the air with significant breaking news and a critical moment in the presidential race. NBC News has learned President Biden will step aside as the presumptive Democratic nominee. He will suspend his bid for a second term, and instead he will pave the way for a different Democratic candidate to face former President Trump this November. I want to show you the letter that we are just getting seconds ago from the president, from his office, in which he says that it has been the greatest honor of his life to serve as his president. He goes on to say, while it has been my intention to seek re-election, he says, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term.
You're watching BBC News. Some breaking news from the United States, where President Joe Biden has said that he is going to stand down from the presidential race and not seek re-election to the White House in November. He has said that he will step aside as a candidate and he will focus on fulfilling his duties as president for the remainder of his term.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're interrupting program for this CBS News special report. I'm Christine Johnson in New York. Another twist in what has already been a historic election cycle. President Biden says he will end his re-election bid.
In severe weather, count on live Doppler 7 Max. Live from Chicago, ABC 7 Eyewitness News at 5 starts right now.
We begin with breaking news here at 5. President Biden is ending his re-election campaign and dropping out of the 2024 presidential race. He posted the decision on social media while recovering from COVID at his beach house in Delaware.
President Biden says he's focused on finishing his term and giving his, quote, full support and endorsement for Vice President Kamala Harris to be the Democratic Party's nominee.
Live from News 7 KWWL, we've got you covered. This is KWWL News at 5.
Now at 5, that breaking news. President Biden announces he is not running for re-election this fall, less than 4 months before Election Day. And the countdown is on for the opening day of the Olympics in Paris. We take a look at the last-minute preparations. Plus, how a Waterloo man's legacy lives on with a website to help others. We begin tonight with that breaking news. President Joe Biden has withdrawn from the presidential race. I'm Emily Moss. Thank you for joining us for the news at 5. The news comes after mounting pressure on the president to drop out, including
El presidente Biden anuncia que no se presenta a la reelección como presidente de Estados Unidos. El demócrata desistió con un mensaje en X a menos de 4 meses de las elecciones y tras semanas de creciente presión para que renunciara. En un segundo mensaje, Biden enfatizó que apoya la candidatura de la vicepresidenta Kamala Harris para sucederlo al frente de la campaña. Ambas comunicaciones ponen fin a medio siglo de una de las carreras políticas más tenaces y destacadas de Washington, de quien antes fue presidente y vicepresidente y también senador.
This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 6. Coverage you can count on.
Let's get you right to the breaking news that has shaken the 2024 presidential race. President Joe Biden has ended his re-election campaign, saying it's in the best interest of both the Democratic Party and the country. This breaking story came in around 2 o'clock this afternoon. It is not unexpected. President Biden faced mounting calls to end his campaign following his debate with former President Donald Trump.
And right now here live at 6:30, what a day it has been for American history. Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us. Special edition of WHAS 11 News at 6:30 tonight. I'm Doug Proffitt, and for the next 30 minutes, we're going to bring you nothing but local reaction to the bombshell news today, as our team has been all over Kentucky, and since the big announcement at 2 this afternoon, you know it by now, President Joe Biden, the president who has visited this state 3 times since 2021, is no longer running in the race for the White House.
We've got the local sports scene on lock. Sports Final tonight at 11:30.
This is First Coast News on your side. We begin with breaking news.
President Joe Biden has dropped out of the race for president. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Katie Jeffries in for Riley Phillips. The announcement coming via a letter posted on the president's social media platforms. In it, he wrote, quote, "I have decided to not accept the nomination and to focus all my energies on my duties as president."
A local forecast for local families. Download the First Alert weather app.
Now, CBS 47 Action News Jax begins with local coverage you can count on.
Tonight, President Joe Biden says he will not seek re-election. It comes as Democratic leaders have pressured the 81-year-old to step aside. Biden has now endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris to take his place. Good evening, I'm Ben Becker. Action Jax has complete coverage of Biden dropping out of the race. But first, we begin with the weather.
The president endorses Vice President Kamala Harris to lead the party in the race for the White House. Who will run with Harris if she gets the nomination? What happens next with just 4 months to Election Day? Our coverage of this historic day in politics starts now.
First with breaking news. Fox 5 News starts now.
President Joe Biden is dropping out of the race for the presidency, ending his re-election bid and endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris to take on Donald Trump in November.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WLKY News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Vicki George. In a stunning and historic move, President Biden announces he will not seek re-election for the White House. Instead, he's throwing his support behind Vice President Kamala Harris to top the ticket.
Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with meteorologist Brittany Boyer and Walter Perez.
Now at 11, a massive shift for the Democratic Party and for voters all across the country. President Joe Biden today announcing he's withdrawing his bid for re-election in the 2024 presidential race.
The decision comes after intense pressure for Biden to step aside. Vice President Harris is receiving endorsements as the next candidate, including the backing of Biden himself.
It is Sunday night. I'm Walter Perez with Shari Williams. The big story in Action News is the sudden exit of President Joe Biden. He announced today he will not seek re-election.
This is the first time an incumbent president has dropped out of the presidential race since 1968, when President Lyndon Johnson stepped aside.
Tonight on CBS 6 News at 11, President Joe Biden stepping out of the 2024 presidential race, endorsing Kamala Harris. What that means for the Democratic Party. Plus, what's next for the delegates that Joe Biden won in the primary election? We hear from one local delegate about what he plans to do. And we'll hear from political experts about how today's historic decision could impact voters when November rolls around.
CBS 6 News starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I am Tom Eschen. President Joe Biden is dropping out of the race for president.
President Biden suspends his 2024 re-election campaign. I'm Nicole Skanga at the White House as Vice President Harris kicks off her campaign at the top of the ticket.
Plus, how former President Trump and his running mate J.D. Vance are reacting to President Biden dropping out of the race.
And many areas across the borderland saw much needed rainfall this morning. Is there more on the way for your Monday afternoon? That's just ahead. CBS 4 at noon starts right now.
This is CBS 4 at noon.
Vice President Kamala Harris has raised nearly $50 million since announcing that she would seek the Democratic presidential nomination.
Live from the CBS 4 studios, this is CBS 4 at 5:30.
I think it is unprecedented. I think it sets up a very interesting couple of months as we get into the thick of the presidential campaign season.
Good evening, I'm John Purvis. Since President Biden delivered his letter to the American public yesterday announcing he's withdrawing from the 2024 presidential race, Vice President Kamala Harris appears to have fended off potential challengers.
11 Alive News at 4 p.m. starts now.
Tonight, delays and cancellations now extending into the new week for many travelers. Just ahead, how Friday's worldwide computer system outage has sent a ripple effect through the world's busiest airports.
And a few of us getting in John's showers this afternoon, but I'm tracking increasing rain chances later this week. We'll time those shower chances out hour by hour.
Georgia Senators Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock throw their support behind Vice President Kamala Harris after President Joe Biden steps aside. Why they say she's the best candidate to beat former President Trump. Straight ahead.
And we start out with trouble down south on 75 southbound near Mount Zion Boulevard and a GDOT program that's going to put a 4-week project in place at Sandy Springs.
Right now, you are looking live on the tarmac of Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, where for a fourth day, travelers have experienced major obstacles trying to make their way to their destinations. While most airlines have recovered, Atlanta-based Delta Airlines is still struggling tonight, calling off 16% of its scheduled flights today alone.
11 Alive News at 5 p.m. starts now.
First at 5, the ripple effect from a global tech outage continues to reverberate through the world's busiest airport. We're live at Hartsfield-Jackson talking about the delays, cancellations, and baggage issues.
Vice President Kamala Harris may have the endorsement of President Joe Biden and other Democrat leaders in Georgia, but does she have the support of women voters in Metro Atlanta? What voters want to see from her ahead.
And with the first day of school right around the corner, we'll tell you how teachers in Atlanta public schools are getting ready for the first day of class.
But first tonight at 5, travel disruptions continue nearly 4 days after a flood.
A knife attack at MIA, a woman eating a meal stabbed more than a dozen times. Well, police say the suspect admitted to taking before the vicious assault. A tractor trailer explodes on a highway. The fire so powerful, the damage wasn't contained to just a truck. The travel troubles haven't ended after last week's computer outage.
We saw people crying in the airport. We heard people saying that they were missing funerals.
What one airline is doing to ease the headaches, and the meals staying on McDonald's menus for a little while longer.
Live NBC6 News at 11 starts now.
It is my intention to go out and earn this nomination and to win.
That is the message tonight from Vice President Kamala Harris, who told her campaign team that her focus is on earning the Democratic nomination for president. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jawan Strader. The major shift comes after a historic decision by President Biden to not seek re-election.
Water rescues in Collin County. The urgent operation just ahead.
Right now at 10, the news just delivered by a local hospital that has put some mothers-to-be on edge.
That's not usual for litigants to.
A courtroom left speechless during the trial involving Cowboys owner Jerry Jones.
Plus rain and below normal temperatures in July. I'll tell you when it has to end.
And Laura Harris lands in Paris. The final preparations for the Olympic Games. The news starts now.
You're watching NBC5 News at 10.
We have breaking news out of Wiley. The body of a young man who drowned at the dam along Highway 78 has been recovered.
We reported at 6 o'clock that 3 other people were rescued. They were pulled to safety by bystanders.
The NBC Connecticut app is connecting you on the go. Scan the QR code to download now and get in-depth political analysis with Face the Facts. Download the NBC Connecticut app today and join the millions who get updates from the #1 online news source in the state.
Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America?
Vice President Kamala Harris rallying the troops at her campaign headquarters as she kicks off her bid for president. See how she's taking steps toward a face-off with former President Donald Trump. A candlelight vigil turned deadly in Desert Hot Springs on Friday. We brought you live breaking news coverage. Tonight, investigators releasing new information, including an arrest in the case. Prepare for some traffic backups in Indio. Overnight construction is planned for part of the week. See how the work could cause some issues for drivers and local businesses.
You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader. This is News Channel 3, live at 11.
Hello, I'm John White. Karen Devine has the night off. Your vote 2024, we begin with the major shakeup in the presidential race. Vice President Kamala Harris has now secured enough Democratic delegates to win the party's nomination. That's according to an AP survey.